Am I the a-hole because I didn't tell my friends with benefits that friendzoned me that I was getting married? I know the title is stupid, but it's accurate. I had a friends with benefits, Lisa. I caught feelings and asked her if we could be more. She said that I was a nice guy and she enjoyed sex, but she couldn't really imagine a relationship with me because I was a man for her. She said we should just go back to being friends. So we did. She dated a bunch of other guys and I met a few women I liked. We stayed friends and I never pushed for more. Not even going back to how it was. I started dating my fiancée Laura a few years ago when she became friends with Lisa. She knows about our past relationship and she is okay with it as long as I respect her boundaries, which I always have and will. We got engaged last weekend. No wedding plans yet, but she's the one. Lisa called me yesterday and asked me if I got engaged. I told her yes. She asked me why I would do that, since she was waiting for me to break up with Laura so we could try again, now that I have proven I can be in a relationship. I told her that we couldn't be friends anymore, and immediately told Laura what happened. She told me I shouldn't, not couldn't, hang around with Lisa anymore. I told her that I already said we couldn't be friends. A few of our friends from college have told me I'm a prick for cutting Lisa out, since I knew she always had a thing for me. I said that nobody informed me that I was her backup plan. I wouldn't have been interested if I had known. I am no one's second choice. Lisa did ask me to have a coffee with her to talk. I went after I told Laura what I was up to. Lisa said that I was an a-hole for not telling her that I was serious about Laura and that I was planning on getting engaged. She was waiting for me to tell her so she could tell me that she was ready for me now. What? She said she didn't realize how serious we were, since Laura and I don't live together yet. We both live with our parents to save money for life. My folks are semi-retired and spend 9 months of the year away on vacations. Laura's parents are happy to have her there to help with her younger siblings. I know I made a right decision cutting her off, but I'm wondering how the heck I was supposed to know. I'll be honest, if Lisa had told me the first year of my relationship with Laura that she was ready, I might have considered it. Laura and I were dating but not serious. How is it my fault if she never informed me? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. She tried to keep you as an insurance future. Tough luck for her. You moved on. Congratulations on your engagement. Thank you. Yeah, it's just weird. How was I supposed to know she had a plan if she didn't share it? You had no chance. She's just angry and tries to guilt you. OP, remember it this way. You never had a real shot. Don't try and rewind that tape in your brain. You asked her to be in a relationship. She declined. You found a lovely girl who wants you as her number one. Full stop. Not a-hole. It's not. Also, she was lying. Waiting for me to break up with Laura so we could try again now that I have proven I can be in a relationship? Come on, man. Her words, not mine. You're suddenly more attractive now that another woman wants you, and you'll be off the market for good. She's angry she overlooked you, and now you're marrying someone else. Yes, it's called pre-selection. Friend with benefits didn't want OP for anything serious until another woman got with him. Friends with benefits suddenly saw OP as a viable choice because Laura saw he was a viable choice. It's the same reason why some people will go after a married person. If that person is happy with them, then I'll be happy with them. It's messed up, but it's definitely a thing. I would cut the people off telling you you're a prick. She had her chance. She didn't take it. She doesn't get to say you're in some trial, and she's subserving you with your partner to see if you're a good boyfriend. Honestly, she sounds insane. Don't just block her. Change your number. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother he has himself to blame for his wife's cheating? My older brother, 29 male, has always had it easy and got way too comfortable in his situation. He was always the favorite compared to myself, 25 female, and my sister, 32 female. The handsome kid, popular in high school and with girls, that kind of thing. It seems during college he actually found a long-term girlfriend, and when he finished up school he married her. It's been 6 years since they married, and he hasn't done anything. His wife has always been a driven, successful woman. How he got her to marry him, I will never know. Since they married, he has not worked. They don't have kids. He barely does anything around the house, which he outright admits. He has gained a considerable amount of weight, developed a crippling porn addiction. He's way too open to admitting it. It's awkward. And spends his days with that or gaming. My brother got too used to gliding through life because he was always the pretty and fun guy. Now that he had his dream girl who provided for the house and brought in a ton of money without him having to lift a finger, he stopped trying to contribute at all. His wife works and does all the chores. They're roommates. I've always liked her and we hang out quite a bit. About 4 years ago, she started doing anything she could to fix the relationship, since of course my brother manipulated her into believing it was her fault. She tried to set up therapy appointments, go to gym more, encouraging him to go to the gym, tried intimacy more often, cut back hours to spend more time with him, bought him expensive things. She spent years trying everything she could to fix things, believing it was her fault. He didn't try a single thing, outright rejected therapy, mocked her weight even though she practically has a supermodel figure, insisted his weight was fine, refused to lift a finger for the house, and kept blaming her for the way things were, saying if she tried more, he would be better. 3 years later, she was still coming home to him watching porn in a dirty house while she cooked and cleaned. 3 years of her working herself to the bone, only to come home to an emotionally abusive husband who beat her down, while she tried everything to fix her marriage. Last year, she decided she wanted a divorce. My brother became hostile and promised to drag it out and take as much as he could, as apparently they have a prenup that he somehow got her to agree to. I know very little about divorce laws, especially in our state, except for that we don't live in an at-fault state. But according to her, if she tried to go forward with it and he got petty, he could take a lot from her. Everything they have is because of her, so she decided against divorce. She was trapped with him and accepted it, against mine and others' objections. I guess by then she was over his BS. She slowly spent more time away from home and claimed she was working extra hours. She didn't bother him about therapy or his weight. She actually pretty much stopped interacting with him. She didn't cook anymore. She didn't clean anymore. It didn't take long for her to admit to me she was spending quite a bit of time with other guys and girls. She never brought any home, but was staying out late quite a bit. My brother didn't notice, and I didn't care. For years, she was a beaten-down shell trying to appease someone who didn't respect her. Now she was lively, happy, outgoing, and everything she used to be. I'm not happy about her feeling stuck with my brother or the concept of cheating in general, but apparently it works for her. It didn't take long for him to find out. Apparently, there were a lot of people she was meeting. He was livid, demanded she stop, and threatened divorce. She didn't care. She told him he knew where the door was. It was her home solely, and she was allowing him to stay out of obligation. She told him she would gladly stop if he agreed to a fair divorce without him fighting it, and that she was showing decency as a provider and a wife by not bringing her partners into their home. The thing is, even if my brother got his way in a divorce, he knew that money would not last at all, and without any work experience in the shape he was currently in, he would be screwed. He was an overweight slacker who barely had anything to his name. Prenup or not, now he was stuck. And so that's how it's been for nearly a year. She barely comes home anymore, and the list of affair partners has only gotten longer. My brother has tried going to the gym more, picking up a part-time job, cooking, but it's too late. He had years to fix this, and only chose to change when his back was against the wall. He's been begging me to make her stop, and to give their marriage a shot. I told him he is a moron who only has himself to blame. If you beat down a patient and caring person long enough, they will absolutely mess you up. He needs to just accept a divorce in her favor and learn from this. He didn't like my answer at all and hasn't talked to me for a couple weeks. Not a-hole. People can't treat someone like that and expect no repercussions. Normally, I say get divorced first, but he was actively obstructing divorce. Not the a-hole, and so is your sister-in-law. She is actually smart in getting him to become active this way, making him less dependent on her money. It takes a mountain for me to agree that cheating was acceptable morally, but this is it exactly. Once he blocked the divorce and manipulated her, screw it, all bets were off. At this point, it kind of feels like it's only cheating in a technical sense. Any pretense of an actual relationship ended when she asked for a divorce and he took the hostile option. Be a real husband. No. Fine, at least be an ex-husband. No. Okay then, cuckold it is. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my ex that she chose our kids over our relationship and it's not my problem that she's lonely now they are grown up? My ex and I had our first child when we were 26. We met at a bar celebrating our 21st birthday. We literally are the exact same age. She changed. Being a mom became her only identity. Our second child when we were 28 compounded it. She was a mom, not a wife. And not even herself. Not the woman I met, fell in love with and married. All she wanted to do was kid stuff. Kid movies, kid TV, kid books, everything. If I wanted to drop the kids off and take her to the farmer's market, she would say no, that the kids loved the farmer's market. We had to take them. They were 3 and 1. They did not love the farmer's market. If anything, the older one loved the mini donuts. And she couldn't stand to hear them cry, so she let them sleep with us constantly. When I put my foot down, she would start crying about how mean I was. When the kids finally outgrew that, she would let them come in our room without knocking. So sex was interesting. Having a cold little hand grab my calf made for at least one very hard thrust. I put a lock on the bedroom door. She took it off. We went for counseling. She went for counseling. Nothing ever changed. She said it would be different when the kids were older. It never changed. I left when the kids were 9 and 11. I had planned and paid for a trip for our 15th anniversary. We were going to Thailand like we always planned when we were younger. She changed the plans. She canceled with her parents watching the kids. We went as a family to Disney World. We had been the year before, and the kids loved it so much. I lasted another 6 months. Then I left. I pay child support. I pay spousal support. I'm there for the kids all the time. I enjoy my custody time. I go to their extracurriculars on the days I don't have them. I have rooms for them in my house. I met someone new a year later. We got married a year after that. We had our first child 2 years after that. She is an excellent stepmom, and the kids were polite and friendly with her. They were grown up and they had a mom, so she is more of a trusted adult. The kids are 16 and 14 now, and they're sick of mom's attention. They're spending more and more of their time at my house. I love having them over. And here they understand what privacy and personal space mean. My ex is lonely. She devoted her life to her kids, and she expected them to be around her forever, I guess. She has dated other men, but she refuses to prioritize them in any way over the kids. An example, one guy lasted 6 months. He wanted to take her away for the weekend. She couldn't because the younger one had a soccer game. It was my weekend. The guy had checked with me that I would be attending and not just leaving the kid at the field. I was. She refused to go and showed up at the game without him. That was the last I saw him. She is getting angry and bitter that I left her alone to go start a new family with my child bride. My wife was 30 when I met her and I was 38. I wasn't exactly robbing the cradle. I told her that she wanted that in life, that I gave her every opportunity to be my partner, and she said she would rather be a mom. She said that wasn't true, so I asked her to prove me wrong, to tell me when she put our relationship above the slightest inconvenience to our kids. She couldn't do it. I reminded her that she passed up a weekend with her boyfriend to go to a soccer game. She said it was important. I said that adult relationships are also important. My wife thinks that I was harsh but fair. Our child sleeps through the night in her nursery though. Now for the top comments. Not a-hole. As a child of a woman like your ex, I got to see firsthand what her decisions to never ever leave my side to do anything with my dad alone did to their marriage. It was horrible and hurt him so deeply. It was also incredibly suffocating for me, and I resented the heck out of being the whole beginning and the end of her world. It's great that your kids are able to see and appreciate the difference in lifestyles and choosing to spend more time with you. She's going to be in for a world of serious hurt if she doesn't learn and refuses to back off of them once they are ready to fly the nest. Not a-hole. I knew a person who literally fell apart when her children started school. She would ask to stay in their classroom and sit at the back, and it was a total mental breakdown she had. She would be the one wailing when the kids had to go into school each morning. In the end, after her husband had a meeting with them, the school eventually let her volunteer so she would be near, but they quickly insisted she wasn't allowed in their class. Yet she was in the school, and would monitor breaks and lunch to be there watching them. It wasn't healthy at all for her or the kids. Yet it was just accepted, and everywhere she went, excuses and exceptions were made for her, as she was known not to cope without the kids. When they were in secondary, she did get a job. But I think that as her husband and doctors pushed her to do something to distract and occupy her time when they were away from her. However, she would come into work late as she was just checking on the kids or would leave partway through her shift to take them a treat for lunch. It was ridiculous that her employer didn't sack her. It was the kids I felt sorry for, 2 boys. Even in older teenage years, it was like they'd been conditioned to see her as fragile, and that they just had to make allowances for her and put up with her forcing herself in every area of their lives. Yet you could see them fed up and sick of it at times, but knew their dad and other family would go mad if they try to have some space. Rather than upset the mom, the family would rather upset the boys. Yet she thought she was all they wanted and needed, so she didn't admit to herself when she made them uncomfortable or unhappy with her being overbearing. I honestly wondered what would happen when she discovers they are dating. She'd take it as an attack on her, I think. She'd take it as them saying she wasn't enough for them. I don't know, maybe she wouldn't like the girl, but she was so possessive and so they're my boys, my everything, my life that I doubt it. I always felt sorry for the boys and wouldn't be surprised if she actually tried to move in with them if they move out. That she would probably help them get their belongings in and appear with a bag of her own at her pillow and act devastated if they try to say no. I am certain any girlfriend would be measured off by her, and possibly by the boys. I wondered whether the boys thought all girls would wait on them hand and foot and put their wants above the girlfriend/boyfriend's needs in life, and if they thought that was normal and natural. It's clear any woman that entered that family would be basically dating the mom as well. That is, if she gets allowed that far by the mom at all. I also wondered about her husband, who suddenly became pushed to the corner in their home and lives as soon as she had their first. He never seemed to mind, and pushed for the boys to just accept it to make their mom happy. I do know there was a fight as the boys got older, to get them to sleep in their own beds and rooms by the husband. He was sick of being pushed out and being uncomfortable, and had ranted to some friends about it. But it was all weird and messed up to me. I'm just glad in OP's case, the kids had a place to escape to, a haven from her constantly overbearing, a place they can get to discover who they are without her. I am so glad their dad didn't push them into feeling they were wronging her for wanting space. Yes, she is lonely, but if she doesn't ease up on them, she will force them away from her completely. Only she is to blame for the choices she's made, and for the consequences from them.